know. I know. No, you don't know.
Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. We were not here last week, which was a good week not to be here with the Bruins and the Celtics in the playoffs and Cora getting fired and Vrabel having the affair and the NFL draft starting. It was a good week not to be here, all three of us. So I'm looking to take February break next year. I'm looking to switch it.
Yeah, I announced the same thing to my family. This will be the last time I'll be taking that April break.
So I don't know where I would go. I mean, this is a big problem to have, but I don't know where you can go where it's warm enough in February if you're choosing to go somewhere warm. I mean, you got to really travel.
The Bahamas won't get it done.
Florida won't get it done. You could go to Miami, have it be 50 degrees.
Go to Aruba.
Aruba, yeah. No, I won't go to Aruba, and I'm not going to Mexico, despite the pharmacia. All right, so while we were gone, I apologize. I'm trying to move this
Don't
screen.
touch my...
They're connected. I'm not doing it to you. I'm doing it for me. I apologize. You know that's annoying him.
You guys having a sword fight over there or what?
He's not happy. What are you doing? I'm not doing it on purpose.
Make sure this still works.
Cut my life into pieces.
The Rossini playlist is still here. That was the singer of that band was a good guy.
Yeah.
I saw him break his ankle, finish the show. All right, snapped his ankle right there in Atlanta. All right, so while we were gone,
Yes.
there were many co-hosts that were kind enough to fill in. We had the likes of Joe Murray, Matt McCarthy, Dan Roach, Marky Dondero, Paul Perillo, Kendra Middleton, and Chris Forsberg.
Yes.
Now, they all filled in, and so what is the game we are going to play, Adam 12?
It is.
What host said that? Ooh-wee. What host said that? What host said that? Ooh-wee. What host said that? What host said that? What host? I said what host said that?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, Adam.
There's a little extra in there.
He's doing the running man for 2 seconds, and then he dies.
Smoking a cigarette and running away. Yeah.
Well, no, the kid can't smoke a cigarette. With that fake ticker in him, he died head over heels. All right, what's going on? What are we doing?
So I am going to read a quote from one of the fill-in hosts from last week.
Okay.
It's leaving it up to you to figure out.
Single elimination. Once they're done, they're off the board.
No, they can be used multiple times because we do have a whole bunch of clips here. Yes.
Yes.
I will read the quote. You guys will discuss among yourselves who you think it was. What host said that, and then we can play the clip from your Vox Pro, Fred.
So let's run down the names again. It's Matt McCarthy, Mark Dondero, Paul Perillo, Chris Forsberg, Kendra
You have
Middleton.
a list in front of you.
You have you have one as
sorry.
well.
It's right there.
Murray, McCarthy, Roach, Dondero, Perillo, Middleton, and Forsberg.
Excellent.
All responsible for these quotes in some way, shape, or form. First quote: "When the water hit my, I screamed like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone."
Dan Roach.
I'm going to say Mark Dondero.
I'll say McCarthy.
When the water hit my you-know-what, I went banana.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Dan Roach. I don't think he's got that specific cultural reference.
Once I hit my you-know-what, I said, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Perillo. It wasn't Kendra. It
might be Forsberg, but I'm going with McCarthy.
No,
it wasn't Forsberg.
It was Dan Roach. He was talking about being on the Disney. I bet he's talking about being on Splash Mountain.
Yeah. I'm sticking with Dondero.
I can see your thoughts.
You all have your choices. Go ahead and play the clip, Fred.
Then I had to take a shower and change into an outfit. And when the water hit my,
your nipples, Dan.
Yes.
Good for McCarthy by saying, you can say nipples. Everyone has them.
Uh-huh.
But, he doesn't want to get anyone in trouble. Good for him.
Yes.
We can say nipples on the radio. I don't know if we can say nipples on Channel 4.
I scream like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
We can say nipples on the air. How do you prevent that from happening? I mean, obviously
Vaseline,
you didn't.
like they tell you to do that and stuff like that and cover them. Some people tape them with Band-Aids and everything else, but that hurt.
Well, there you go, Frank.
Dan texted me yesterday. I didn't text him back. I was just sharing stories. See, I know Danny very well.
You
I
do.
knew that was Dan
Nicely
Roach.
done.
All right. Very good.
Next quote. I'd hold my own in an ice cream eating contest.
Joe Murray. But it might be Dundero reacting to Joe Murray. Were they on the air together?
They were on the air together.
Dundero reacting to Joe Murray. How about that? How about a little curveball on you?
Specific, huh?
Dundero reacting to Joe Murray. Because I did get emails that Joe was very food heavy.
Oh.
In content when he was on the air.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it also sounds like something that Kendra would oddly brag about.
I see. I'm with Hardy on this. I was going to say Kendra.
Oh, like, hey guys, I eat ice cream too.
Yeah.
Low key, I'm an ice cream girl. Okay, we'll see.
Roll the clip.
I'd hold my own in an ice cream eating contest.
Oh my God, I'm broke.
Look at that, Freddie T. Right out of the box.
It's called a square peg round hole. Trying to fit himself into a convo that he don't really belong in. It's an amateur conversation tactic.
Wow, very impressive.
Yeah. See, best sit it out, but you don't have to, or tell a relating story instead of trying to one up.
I'm just trying to figure out what the rest of that Kendra conversation would sound like. I could low key hold my own in an ice cream and butter pecan for life. Word. What's up, party peeps?
And then she would have, and then she would be a picture of her
ice
working
cream
out the next time.
I'm an ice cream girly.
BPFL, ice cream girly.
Yep.
Well, she didn't say it, and you're punishing her for no reason.
Yeah, right. That's why it's
Like
fun.
the guy with the deaf parents.
That's why it's fun and funny. She's probably friends with that stupid kid.
Adam?
I don't like it.
All right.
Why do you think I keep doing it?
All right, here we go.
I'd hold my own in an ice cream eating contest. I don't care who I'm up against.
I love ice cream, but I get that brain freeze.
No, you can. There's a way around it.
How do you?
You slurp it.
No.
Yeah, then you get punched in the face.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Slurping ice cream?
I've never seen that.
You slurp it.
Oh.
Slurp it up, slave.
You slurp the ice cream.
What do you mean you slurp it?
There's a technique where if you kind of slurp the ice cream, it goes down more like milk, and you can avoid the brain freeze. I learned
it from Peter North early in his career.
One of his first scenes.
I believe his first.
It was.
I learned this back during an ice cream eating contest with some legend when I worked in Mississippi. Taught me, R.H. Brown taught me how to slurp it.
So were you involved? Were you covering?
I was covering this, but he won the competition.
And so he gave you a little
taught
tip?
off the record. Yeah,
Off the record.
I've always been good at eating ice cream, especially if it's a flavor I like, spot I like. Just telling you. Don't underestimate me because I'm not as big.
That's a good
If
tip.
he worked in Mississippi, I'll give him some credit. In this day and age of just people putting a microphone in their bedroom and pretending that they're on the air, if he had to travel around the country trying to get audiences in Mississippi and what else, you have to give Dundero some credit.
Taught me how to slurp it.
That's right.
That's right.
Learned
All
how to
right.
slurp it in Mississippi.
What's next?
What you got, homeboy?
That's right, TT Boy. He never did that. His brother Talon did.
That's right. And TT Boy does not like that his brother did that.
No, it's a whole thing.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Next quote. Do you feel that you have open range to just let it rip when you're at a urinal?
Well, that's Kendra, obviously. What if it was asking a story of Matt McCarthy? Do you have it's Forsberg or Murray, and I'm Forsberg or Murray.
Perfect record on the line here.
Do you?
It's got to be
feel that
Murray
you have
because
an
I
open
don't.
range? Go
I think it's got to be Murray because I don't know if Forsberg would be.
They're talking
that
about farting at the urinal.
Farting, or I guess. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. But I just thought of urinal and going to the bathroom. It's Murray. Please be McCarthy.
I was talking about lately how when I go up to a urinal now, I feel that. Do you feel that you have open range to just let it rip when you're at a urinal? Because I talked about this before I left for my trip. The first thing that happened, I go to the bathroom before the airplane.
Yeah.
And people are letting them rip it. I'm laughing because I just talked about this.
Yeah.
But I noticed every time I went into a public bathroom and I was at a urinal, Everyone was letting him rip.
Wait, are you talking about farting?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know either.
I think
Farting at the urinal, in or out?
in. I mean, where else are you supposed to fart?
I feel like it's like a common thing now.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's better than. But you know what, though? I heard once you said you're out on crop dusting or whatever.
I don't like to crop dust.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
want
feel
crop
like
dust
okay,
anymore.
I get that, but I mean, where are you supposed to fart?
We're going to lose our audience with the NPR.
Open range to just let it rip.
I told them not to get political.
3 for 3. Wow.
Fred,
I'm a study. I'm a studier of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if you can get this quote. Get lubed up a little bit.
Kendra Middleton
No,
or Forsberg.
I'm gonna go off the board here. Paul Perillo.
Damn it! I was gonna say that. I'll say something different now. I think it's Perillo.
If it's
but,
in reference to football, that's a curveball, which I don't
well,
like.
I mean, that was an old Tom Brady quote. You know, get lubed up and go to the game. I think it's Perillo.
That's right. So it's Perillo kind of hearkening back to an old Brady quote.
I can't go off of that. It's got to be Perillo.
So 2 for Perillo, and who did you say, Fred?
Well, I want to take it back now, but I guess Kendra.
Okay, Kendra, Perillo, let it roll.
Kendra wouldn't say it.
I'm not going to say Kendra. I'm going to say Forsberg. I'm just going to.
Okay.
I'm going to change it to Forsberg.
Forsberg, Perillo. Okay, roll it.
It was 30 degrees for most of the show, and I am feeling it today.
It was 30 degrees for most of the show. Let's just say I'm not feeling it. It's too dang cold in here, brr. You know, Dan, you were speaking of nipples. Mine are peeking. You know why? 'Cause it's chilly. I don't know about you, but when I get goosebumps, my nips go crazy.
And they're pink on account of my complexion.
Mine are almost impervious to wear and tear.
They did the outdoor broadcast at the starting line, right?
Yes.
McCarthy and
it was McCarthy and Dan Roach.
Cold that morning, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, baby, been there, done that.
Yeah, even if I work that week, I ain't working the marathon.
No,
It was 30 degrees for most of the show, and I am
yesterday.
feeling it today. The voice, never really in good shape, really not in good shape today. So,
Leela. Oh, jeez Louise.
Where's
I don't
the
even know if
lubed
I'm
up
good to go
part?
for the second show.
12.
Did that?
This roof's going to have no fiddler tonight.
We gotta
Was that the end of
keep
the clip?
No.
Yeah.
it was 30 degrees for most of the show, and I am
yesterday.
feeling it today. The voice, never really in good shape, really not in good shape today. So, we'll see. You guys might be doing a lot of talking today. I woke up today and I said, nope, not going to happen. 12?
I have cough drops.
Ooh.
Yes, you will have some cough drops.
So
Don't worry.
here's the thing. I'm not sick. I don't feel sick. I have no voice
sometimes it
left.
just helps to have a little bit of lubrication. You know what I'm saying?
Get that lubed up a little
Exactly.
bit.
Exactly.
Well, you kind of let him into it there.
Perillo was there to adjudicate it, though. He was like, "Jeez."
Yeah, let's walk it back a step or two here, guys.
All right, there, little lady. Fellas,
Boys,
now. All right.
Let's go to clip 6.
Oh,
Skip 5 and go to 6, and I'll give you the quote for clip 6. You can't crap where you eat, and don't throw your cat around at the end of the day.
That's Kendra.
no,
That's Kendra.
no.
it's not Kendra.
No.
I'm gonna
Matt
go
McCarthy.
I'm gonna go.
It better be Matt McCarthy.
I'm going Perillo again.
It better be Matt McCarthy. Playing the character.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's
roll
not
that
like
clip.
there are not, other coaches, I'm sure, doing nefarious things in their free time.
True, but I would say none of this has been unfair to Mike Vrabel. If this has been brought upon
you can't
himself.
crap where you eat and don't throw your cat around at the end of the day. That's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Jacksonville shenanigans?
It is what it is. What's the cat metaphor?
That's the reason I chose her. There was no
As
reason
ZZ
to
Top.
include the cat.
Seriously, I'm being serious. Does anybody know what that means?
It's probably like a ZZ Top, like kitty thing. Like Wang Dang, you know what I'm saying? It's probably Nugent. It's probably a Nugent lyric.
It's probably from Wango Tango.
Well, it's probably from Leonard Skinner, the only thing to ever come out of Jacksonville, other than Limp Bizkit. I like lots of coaches are having sex with female reporters. Yes, of course. All 32 of them are. Now, are they cheating on their wives? Possibly. Like, McVay can get whatever he wants in L.A. That's too tempting. All right, what's the next quote?
Let's do one more. Let's do clip 7. Here's the quote. People on Twitter are also really upset that I called it egg pudding, saying I'm ruining mayo for them, but that's really what it is.
Dan Roach. Oh, no, Joe. No, that's not Joe.
I'll say Perillo since we haven't had a Perillo yet.
Well, who is paying attention to Twitter on this list?
It's Dundaro. Maybe Dundaro? Dundaro or McCarthy? Because it's not Joe. It's not McCarthy. It's Dan or Dundaro. It's too simplistic a food take for Joe. And Joe wouldn't care about if it was made from eggs. He's a connoisseur of taste.
I want to keep saying Perillo until I'm right, but I don't think he would comment. I don't think he would call mayonnaise egg pudding.
I don't think Adam pulled a clip of Perillo. I'm going to be honest with you.
Ooh.
So I'm going to say this is Dundaro or Roach.
All right.
I'm almost positive it's Dundaro or Roach.
I'm sticking with it.
It might be McCarthy. Okay, where am I going to go? McCarthy.
Okay.
How about that, McCarthy? I'm just going to call it
How about
egg
this?
pudding.
Forsberg.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not Joe. Because you think it's Joe because it's food, but it's not.
No.
But Dundaro was on with Joe. Was McCarthy on with Joe?
No, McCarthy was
It's
on.
Dundaro. Fine, there you go.
All right, there
Final
you go.
answer.
Choices have been made.
Roll the clip.
Clogged arteries, mayo energy.
Mouth breathers.
Yes.
Yeah, Mayo energy. Low-key, Mayo energy.
Clogged arteries, mayo energy.
Mouth breathers.
Yes.
Mayo eaters.
energy.
It's not good for the heart.
No.
Not good for
It's
the
egg
cholesterol.
pudding. People on Twitter are also really upset that I called it egg pudding, saying I'm
he's trying to give
ruining
us a clue.
mayo for them, but that's really what it
That's
is.
kind of what it is.
It literally is. It's just you sub bone marrow for unfertilized chickens.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
There's bone marrow in that thing?
In pudding, yeah. Pudding is like the gelatin is bone marrow. Same with Jell-O.
I shouldn't go. What is mayonnaise?
It's just eggs, olive oil, salt.
You never saw the Ja Rule Cribs where he has the personal chef make the mayonnaise and he starts freaking out because he didn't know what it was?
No.
Yeah, I'll never forget
How
it.
about that?
Yeah, there's a Ja Rule Cribs with the things you remember, and he's got a personal chef in quotations.
Yeah.
He is under his employ.
Yeah, exactly. In the house that he owns.
Right, exactly. And Ja Rule and the guy makes mayonnaise, and you can tell Ja Rule has a personal chef because it's the first time he's ever seen mayonnaise be made. And he starts running around like a lunatic because he doesn't know it's like eggs.
Well, fine work, gentlemen.
What host said that?
It got hard. After the first three, it wasn't so good.
What host said that?
No,
good
you
for me.
you killed. I don't think I got one right.
We kept saying Perillo. Did you pull a Perillo clip?
I did. That's the one that we skipped.
Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Yeah, everybody.
What was the line?
His quote was, "You got to Vaseline those babies up." Was more nipple talk.
No, I see. I would have skipped over the Perillo. Guess
I wouldn't have gotten that either.
All right.
It's a good thing we didn't do it. All right. Here's the deal. Joon Lee, our friend Joon Lee, has got a article about the inner workings of the Red Sox and what was going on with Cora. If I'm not mistaken, John, a toxic
positivity is what he calls the inner workings of the front office.
Okay, so we can just start with that when we get with him. Let me write that down because I am correct and I'm recalling what I read. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
IYKYK, which obviously YD. Okay?
Dutcher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
Yeah, we talked. Baseball's a crazy game, and, it's a game that is, it's a business at the end of the day. Yeah, we talked, and obviously those conversations will stay between us, but, yeah.
All right, Alex Cora has been fired as the manager of the Boston Red Sox in April, and I'm being told that drive-line methodology in both their pitching and hitting programs is heavily factored into this. Andrew Bailey is a close friend of Breslow's. He's heavily involved in the approach, emphasizing data-driven concept and throwing hard in the strike zone, which at first glance, throwing hard in the strike zone seems like a tactic from 1800. I don't really, it's the invention of the game. I'm sure there's way more to it than that. But again, if this is That fine, okay. You love Driveline and you love this stuff. If he wasn't doing it, why didn't you fire him in October? Like what? Like last October? Why did you if he wasn't following the organizational philosophy that you wanted instilled, why did you have him as your manager in the first place?
Looking back on it, it seems that the fact that they were able to clinch a playoff spot was the only reason he still made it to spring. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but then if you were going to pull none of it, nothing I could think of logically can excuse the firing of him in April unless he did something like specific, like to undermine the organization. I didn't say he didn't deserve to be fired or that they shouldn't have fired him. It's the timing of the firing. Like if everything is, data driven, real quick, and then we'll get to Joon Lee. If everything, my point is this, it makes sense or not, this is me. If everything is data driven and buttoned up and it's all that precise, there shouldn't be like firings this early in a season. Like you should have your ducks in a row going into spring training, let alone the regular season. That's all. Does anyone understand what I'm saying? Like, if everything is that precise, how did you mess up this much?
If you're going to be data-driven, stay data-driven, and whoever's in charge, it shouldn't matter. You keep that person.
Or you put someone in charge that's data-driven. Right. Like, if it's all so buttoned up, then get your ducks in a row. Don't fire your manager in April, which is a sign of an organization that's out of control.
And just real quick, the stat that I saw yesterday, this is the earliest the Red Sox, far and away the earliest the Red Sox have ever fired a manager since World War II. The previous early was early June. That's the earliest they've ever fired a manager since 1945.
Well, Breslow's shaking it up. And Suarez has him to thank for the one-hitter yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
Joon Lee is a journalist who has written for many of the great sports organizations, sports presses around the United States and the world. And Joon, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, so you wrote a very good article about like kind of what was going on in the Red Sox organization and used the term toxic positivity. Can you explain?
Yeah, so the Red Sox, I think, are in a position which I think you're kind of touching on, kind of where they're kind of always reacting to stuff because they have this mindset of things are always going to go great. And so until the press and the fan base have gotten so loud that they almost have to react to it, they're just in this place of things are going to go great. Things are awesome. And I think that's part of why we see Alex Cora getting fired in April when, as you said, like, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, what has changed, through the first month of the season that wasn't true in the offseason or in spring training? And I think that we're in this place with the Red Sox where they're constantly trying to just tell themselves that things are good until basically the fans and the press get loud enough where they have to do something.
So they're reacting to your knowledge is that they're reacting to like the press and the fan base being upset this early in the season.
Yeah, they've gotten very obsessed with, I think, the PR because of, I think, just generally becoming much more like a Fortune 500 Wall Street run organization. I mean, this is true, I think, dating back to 2019 when they start to take on private equity investment, when MLB opened up those rules, and their kind of incentives as an organization started to shift where it was much more focused on trying to maximize the valuation of the group. And I remember when I was covering the Red Sox for ESPN at the time, the things that the people in the front office were saying was we're trying to become much more like the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Dodgers, when the new ownership group took over with Mark Walter and Guggenheim Group, they kind of revamped the organization with the eyes of, I think, becoming much more like a Fortune 500 company. The difference, though, between the Red Sox and the Dodgers is that the Dodgers have taken almost a century-long view. They're trying to recreate what the Yankees were in the 20th century with Babe Ruth and becoming this like decorated franchise with a lot of World Series titles, and that's how they raise the prestige and the valuation of the franchise. The Red Sox, on the other hand, have kind of become much more what people associate private equity with in the day-to-day lives of our world today, which is they come in, they suck the life out of a thing that people love. This happened with many stores like Sears and Toys R Us, and has happened in the healthcare industry. It's part of why rent and housing prices are up across America today. They kind of take in and suck the life out of it and raise the prices and jack up the prices and try to maximize profit. And that's part of why I think the Red Sox are ranking 12th in baseball in payroll, because people in Boston Boston are willing to go see the Red Sox regardless of how good they are. And so they're able to maximize the profit that they make on a year-to-year basis by keeping the payroll down and ensuring that fans are still showing up at the ballpark.
But June, they say things like they did at the end of last season, and you mentioned in your article how they feel like they're in their window right now. And they say the things to appeal to like the fan base's emotions, but then they don't follow through on things, and they kind of stick to, like you said, this private equity mindset of maximizing profits and all this stuff. But then turn around and I would say do something inconsistent, like do something emotional, like get rid of the manager. Like, how does that fit in with any financial or metric assessment of what they're trying to do with the baseball team?
I mean, the answer is it doesn't. I mean, the Red Sox are in a place where they're trying to aspire to be like the Dodgers and make these almost cold, rational decisions, but the actions always speak louder than their words, and they're acting incredibly emotionally on a day-to-day basis, and it's something that people within the organization are noticing. I mean, Craig Breslow has tightened his inner circle to a handful of people, and among those people in his inner circle are the driveline guys that Fred mentioned, but also it's people who have private equity consulting experience that are coming in and treating the Red Sox much more like a Fortune 500 company. But the thing is, they're not doing it particularly well. They're not making decisions based on just the numbers. I mean, you can go out and say that we're making decisions based on the numbers all the time, but your actions speak a lot louder than your words, and that's kind of where the Red Sox are right now.
As a result of this kind of activity, June, how far are their heads stuck in the sand when they refuse to acknowledge bad things are happening? Are they aware that they're happening, or they have completely ignored them and they don't exist?
I mean, there's a portion of the organization that I think isn't necessarily in the inner circle with Craig Breslow and his kind of group of baseball operations people and Sam Kennedy and the ownership group. I think that those people, from conversations I had personally with people, I think it comes across in the interview that I had with Sam in the article, that they seem to believe that things are going fine. I mean, I talked to Sam before opening day, and he was kind of taken aback by the tone of the conversation. Obviously, things have gone poorly since then, but there is a large portion of the front office, and people have reached out to me post that article coming out on Saturday and on Sunday after Alex Cora got fired, that are trying to speak up, but they feel as if they cannot speak up within the organization because of this mindset of toxic positivity. And that's ultimately, I think, where the toxic part of this comes in, where people feel as if they cannot broach the reality of what's happening with the culture of the organization because of this almost strict adherence to just maintaining a positive attitude regardless of what is actually happening, on the field or in the off season, and the results of whether or not they're able to get the players that they actually want to get in house.
And it's an interesting thing because the private equity and the driveline stuff kind of fill in the same thing. And a lot of these guys that have the success in finance are data driven, and that's a formula that they've figured out, in like John Henry, and it works. And then you can measure everything from spin rate to exit velocity and all this stuff, and you can figure out what numbers make a successful baseball player. But there's that pesky human element to it that they seem to like, and that seems to me where the toxic positivity comes through, is like, we're just gonna outthink the human element, right? Like, we'll just put our heads down and just hustle through anything that is anything that doesn't fit into this data plan, because if you throw the ball at this velocity, at this spin rate, in this location against this particular hitter, there's a 99% probability that he's not going to make a solid contact on it. Just go do it. And totally. It's like, yeah, well, I'm trying. I'd like to be a multimillionaire. Like, I'd like to make $20 million a year. But, it's like hard to do. So that sort of seems like what it sounds like to me, June.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the whole Trevor Story situation actually fits into this as well, because, there's this mindset that you go into that meeting and the players are just going to listen because they're data points and they're not going to have their own opinions and they don't care about expressing their opinions. I think the whole thing with the Trevor Story situation is that the front office didn't necessarily need to listen and take everything Story said into account before making that decision. I think people just want to be heard. Like, that's the human thing. Like, if you're making a big decision that's directly affecting the lives of 25, 26 guys on a day-to-day basis, you want to have your voices heard, even if your voice doesn't necessarily affect the final result. And I think guys understand why Alex Cora lost his job. I think that there was much more of a pushback that they felt as if they weren't just heard at all in the first place. And I think it just speaks to this kind of pattern we've seen under Craig Breslow. I mean, the last time I was on with you guys was the whole Devers situation, and Devers was a communication breakdown. And I think you see this again and again. And what happened with Trevor Story is part of some of the stuff that I haven't necessarily reported yet on the front office, but people in the front office kind of feel the same way, where, you know, people are being told what to do and they don't feel as if their voice is heard. And it's not necessarily that they need influence in terms of having what they say to Craig Breslow and people like Sam Kennedy to be heard, to be implemented rather, but they just want to have their voices heard because they want to feel like they're having a relationship with another person. A lot of people within the Red Sox organization, whether it's the clubhouse, as you can see with Trevor Story, or people in the baseball operations department, don't feel like that right now.
Considering it seems like top to bottom, people's skills are not a strong point of any of these people. And I'm wondering, you know, I'm asking you to speculate a little bit. Is there a way out of this? Because honestly, Craig Breslow is a Chaim Bloom clone. So it seems like they want a certain type of person. It just doesn't sound like this is going to change anytime soon.
Well, I think it's interesting that you bring that up because I was talking about this yesterday on Early Edition as well on NBC Sports Boston. People actually miss Chaim's people skills.
Oh, boy.
You know, Chaim was one of the, you know, you can talk all about his decisions all you want, but Chaim went out of his way to make people feel heard. That was actually his issue, was that he was getting too many inputs from too many people. And the Red Sox have kind of swung in the complete opposite direction, where Breslow now doesn't listen to anyone. And so even though the results, you know, in terms of just wanting to apply analytics might be similar to what happened under Chaim, people are actually missing that. And I think that this is a larger organizational culture issue. I mean, you can look at Sam Kennedy, but you should also need to look at John Henry. And John Henry not talking to the media, I think, is very much emblematic of this. This is an owner who is not willing to listen to what the fans and the public think through the conduits in the media. And that kind of culture and organization and mindset stretches all the way down to Sam Kennedy, who is helping enable Craig Breslow to do that. And we're seeing it kind of spread throughout the entire organization, which is where, again, toxic positivity comes into play.
Yeah. I don't know what he's going to say at this point that's going to change anything, but it was kind of jarring when I read in your article there that going back to what was it, the Mookie Betts trade, and how many times has he spoken with and addressed and met with the media, John Henry, since then? This is it. This is what you get from the owner now, only in like seismic changes, either with a trade like this or a firing, and otherwise you just don't hear from him.
I understand why he doesn't want to talk to the media. Is that I brought you all these World Series when you had this curse, and I still can't win with you? I get John Henry's perspective on not talking to the media, because he probably thought when they won their first World Series, like, now I'm going to be the mayor of this town.
I have carte blanche for the rest of my life.
And he really kind of deserved it in a way, but he's such a non-charismatic individual maybe that it kind of bit him in the ass. I mean, he was trying. He came into that Felger and Maz to, like, debate him. He was trying, but it was just met with this either a shrug or negativity. I get it from Henry's
I didn't
perspective.
expect you to side with ownership, Fred. That's interesting.
Well, I'm working on the, you know, I'm kind of in that position around here now. You know, like a big shot. Yeah, right. Calling all the shots. Joon Lee, appreciate it. And read Joon Lee. Where can people check you out, Joon? Where do you want people to go?
You can find the Red Sox article on my Substack, which is just joonlee.substack, and then check out my YouTube channel, which is where I talk about like how a lot about the sports business aspects of fandom are affecting the experience of being a sports fan today.
Yeah, on YouTube. The more cold and calculated it gets, the more you kind of feel sometimes like you're a sucker just feeding into it. Joon, thank you so much. We appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks for having me on.
There you go, the great Joon Lee. But yeah, I mean, they can, the way that they can analyze data now, and even the performance of like your bullpens is insane, and it's all really good information. And they can figure out, like, based on spin rate and velocity, like your chances of success. There's no question. But it's another thing to get in the game and do it. Like, you can, it's just, there is a point where, like, the human element is going to come into play. These are human beings.
That's the other thing, and people skills too. I mean, it's one thing to close yourself in your office and analyze all this data, such as spin rate and velocity, and that'll get you a long way. But there are human beings playing for you in the clubhouse. You have to interact with these people so that they want to play for you. Maybe put that extra effort out there.
Well,
that's what Trevor's story was getting at.
Well, we've talked about this. You can have all the information in the world. If you can't relate it to people in a way that they can understand and implement it, it's useless unless you use AI, and then you can remove the human element altogether. And then you get super big weirdos that are billionaires running the world because they want to live in a world where you have sex with automatons and robots and you don't have to deal with anybody at all, which seems like not as fun.
I'd give it a shot. Take it for a spin.
I
would try it.
I like the consenting part of us both wanting to do it.
Can you put a baseball cap and a flannel shirt on these automatons?
It's still, but there's no
you need a specific kind of hair.
He knows it's going to say yes. The robot's going to say yes. Isn't there that seductive
the song
dance?
And dance?
Yeah, and sometimes the no makes the yes so much sweeter. In that, if one girl,
easy.
My point is this: I was about to elaborate. If one girl says no, and you're all down in the dumps, maybe the next girl you meet is the love of your life. And
program
she says yes.
a couple of robots to say no.
But they've been programmed that way, or it's just some kind of lottery system, and no one needs that. No one needs that. All right. Well, listen. It's a lot of fun when business and private equity takes over these things and they become. But I like the Dodgers comparison. Well, they're spending $450 billion or something on that payroll.
Yeah.
Like I could have signed Ohtani. I know how to do that. All right. Give him money. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.